Hey everybody, it's Monique here with Shop-Ware. I am the sales manager for Shop-Ware. I've been with Shop-Ware for about 5 years now, and I have with me Chris, and I also have Jenna from Broadly. Chris is the head of business development for just a little over 3 years now. He came from the local advertising space for about 15 years. He did that. And Jenna is the partner manager coming up on 3 years now. And they are going to walk us through some pretty interesting content here. And I'm super excited to dig in.
Yeah, thanks for that introduction. I know we have about a minute before this really kicks off. So I can give it, I think we're starting around 12, right? So I'll kind of give
Yeah,
a slow.
you could go slow so we can let some people join in. Absolutely.
It's great. Yeah, it's nice to be working from home here. It's a different time, different world. My car is certainly not getting as many miles on it, which I know it changes up the service game out there for all these shop owners. But I still am hitting my thresholds and check engine lights. So I am making my way into the shops pretty often still. And then all the road trips. I feel like everybody I know has been doing less flying and more driving on long, lengthy road trips. So it almost makes up for all that mileage loss from daily commutes, I feel like. And they're certainly packing on some more miles, heading to all these national parks and everything where you can still get outdoors.
Oh yeah, I'm the absolute opposite of you. I've been driving everywhere, so I'm putting more miles on my vehicle than had COVID not been around.
Oh, really? Are you
Yeah.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Because of travel and fun, or more not for work
Yeah. I mean,
necessarily?
I'm just flying less and driving more. It seems like it's a little easier, it's a little safer.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely in the shop more for sure.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, we do help all these shops, and it's interesting. It's obviously dependent on your geography and the type of shop you are, but we've seen a lot of shops do really well during some of this. Some of them are beating their 2019 numbers. It's certainly not all of them, and again, like it's dependent on your situation. But it's nice to see these essential businesses in auto continue to be able to weather some of this storm through COVID. All right. Well, we've just hit 12:01, so I can kind of get started here. I'm also joined, guys, broadly, as she said, by Jenna Dolson. She's out there for any questions you might have as well. As Monique said, I head up business development here and started this partnership off with Shop-Ware. I do focus heavy on the automotive aftermarket and the partnerships we have in that space. Our team itself really focuses on auto. We have a direct dedicated team to focus on bringing on and talking to more shops about the marketing of your shop and how to grow your shop. And a lot of that for us is partnerships with your shop management systems. So we do integrate with a lot of management systems out there. And today we love working with our partner Shop-Ware on one of those integrations. So we're going to kind of dive into this. But again, feel free to jump into the chat, ask questions along the way. You can always get a hold of us afterwards. I'm sure we'll drop some information in that chat as well. But we want to get started and just talk to you a little bit about how, using Shop-Ware and using Broadly together, how that can help market your shop. And we don't want to just come at you with a demo of features. What we want to do today is really educate and kind of help a little bit around the ecosystem of reviews, of customer experience and web chat and the different things out there. But we're really going to lean in on that reputation and your shop's online curb appeal is what I like to think of it as. So again, thanks for having us. Let's go ahead and get started here. So broadly, you might have heard of us as we've been attending a lot of auto shows back when we could still travel. I think the last one I was at, my last flight was Vision there in Kansas City, which was a good show and a lot of great barbecue. I think we had it 2 times a day, every day. And, in that space, Broadly's been around for 7 years, and we really have focused in here on auto and home services as well. But this idea of your customer life cycle is where we want to help improve those experiences, kind of bring them up to today's consumers, and ultimately drive a strong reputation online for all the good work you do offline. So many times you'll have a customer that's dedicated to you, a repeat customer. They love you. They've been in for years. They've come in, their family has come in, their aunts and uncles have come in, and they always tell you they're great. But how often do they remember to go and write you a review? How often is word of mouth benefiting you versus really throwing gas on the fire, becoming word of mouth publicly? These marketing tools to you that you can use through automation it really helps improve the efficiency of all the other customer journeys that you're thinking about. So, with Broadly and Shop-Ware, you can think of us as really helping from that moment they discover you online to the moment you thank them after they've checked out of your shop, right after they've closed the repair order. So, for us, that looks like web chat. That looks like a single inbox to have those conversations consolidated, and then really heavy on the reviews piece. We kind of have this nice journey. Now, payments, Shopware does a great job at that. Your SMS also might be doing a good job at that. We throw it in as a way to do touchless, convenient payments. We've seen some acceleration there because of COVID. But this all really kind of starts with this journey. And I asked you to kind of look at this page. It looks kind of messy. It's got a lot of stuff. I actually think this came from a study that IKEA did when they were trying to map out their customer journey. But we've taken this and used this over the years as it's a customer journey for any type of business, small or large. And whether you're selling Swedish meatballs and furniture like IKEA does, or you're helping improve cars through great service, there is this journey that goes along, right? And customer experience falls into all of these buckets. There's a lot of creative ways I've seen customer experience come to the forefront. I was watching a shop tour that Carm had done on one of his podcasts, and I believe this was a shop in Utah, and they had cookies, right? They had warm cookies in their waiting room, and that's a customer experience thing. Has nothing to do with cars, but it was cool to see is that they get people who have that good experience. It sticks in their mind. It's a little something to set them apart. Just another, like, we call it CX, or customer experience, more than the customer service. Two different things. I don't know, Monica, have you seen any shops kind of have similar fun things like that?
Yeah, I go to a lot of shops to onboard them and help them, successfully roll Shopware out. And there was an instance where I went out to North Dakota in the winter,
Oh, good job.
which I live in the South. So that was an experience in itself. But the shop actually not only washes the vehicle after they're done fixing it, but they actually stick a branded teddy bear in the seat. And not that
Fun.
the teddy bear itself is exciting, but a lot of single mothers take their vehicles in and then they have their rushing to get to their kids. So being able to just hand them something to play with maybe while you're in that shop or needing to do something is really fabulous.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's a cool story. Yeah. So basically, cookies and teddy bears is the key to success.
that's right. Why
I
not?
feel like that was like high school dating or something. But I love that. So that experience is great, right? That's the in real life experience that you can get creative with. But when you look at this, what's on the screen here, there's all these digital touch points. From the time they do a search to the time they maybe see your ad or an online review, or maybe they go to your website. What's the experience on your website? Have you taken a look at that? Are you only offering them a phone call? We call these brochureware websites, where it's nothing more than a brochure that you've thrown into your computer. People don't love phone tag and voicemail and dialing anymore. They really want a way to interact with you as a business, the same way they're interacting with Amazon and Netflix and Uber. And it's silly to think of a shop as competing with Netflix, but you are on a customer experience level. I mean, Netflix is awesome in its own right. It's on demand, immediate content. But then they made it even more convenient, and like you can binge watch and they'll automatically skip intros for you. Like, who wants to watch the same intro 12 times? Like, that's how convenient we've become. It's ridiculous. But that expectation, or being able to push buy now on Amazon, those things are what people want to see in their auto shops, right? In their service professionals. So, when you go to your website, do you have a web chat? Do you have a way for them to SMS you and engage you? When they call, are you answering 24/7? Do you have a scheduler? Get all the way down here into follow up. Are you just asking verbally, or are you prompting them with a nice text message and a branded image? So again, take some time to map out your own customer journey and think about your customer before they bring in that shop and decide to work with you and give them their money. Give you their money. Think about this customer experience journey and how can you kind of level it up at each of these different points. So, at the very end of that journey, you saw loyalty, right? So loyalty is really, there's a lot of things that could come into that, right? There's a lot of loyalty systems out there, but one is getting great promoters to talk about you. There's this quote from a founder of HubSpot, and I'm going to summarize it because I can't remember it exactly, but the more promoters you have, the less ads you have to buy is essentially the more advocates is what he said. The more advocates a business has, the less ads you have to buy. And that's very true, right? This is that curb appeal element to your online digital business. You can see here, this was a study done by Bright Local on Google ranking factors. What makes your shop rank? If I'm not doing a name search for your specific business, if I'm just typing in Volkswagen repair, auto repair, brake repair, whatever it is, how do you rank in the Google factor? And this is the study done. 16% of that is reviews and responding. That's a pretty considerable percentage. And the nice part is you don't have to buy ads for that. You don't have to like spend thousands of dollars, right, for this. You need to put in a review management system so you can be smart about getting great reviews and take the time to respond. Responding is essentially free, right? Google My Business is another huge factor here that I want to focus on. Make sure that you fill out and complete your Google profile. That means updated photos, not canned photos. Make them real, make them authentic and personal. Making sure your name, address, and phone number is updated. Use their new COVID features where you can update your COVID hours. Have a website. Make sure your Google Messenger is turned on. Google now has a messenger button where they can message you through the Google platform, or through consolidated programs like Broadly. So just really dive in deep and just fill it out and update it often. For me, when I travel, I used to travel, reviews were critical, and word of mouth, it goes so far. But even like for something as simple as a burrito, somebody can tell me I really highly recommend this restaurant, and they could be a colleague and a friend, but I'm still going to go look up that restaurant's reviews, right? And people do that all the time. Monique, you travel a bunch. What do you think about reviews on this element?
I do. And I was just telling you that I'm still traveling a lot, especially by car now. And so if I don't know someone who has a shop in the area, like a Shop-Ware user, then I will absolutely rely on reviews in whatever area I'm in. So I
Yeah.
think this is absolutely correct.
Yeah, that's great. So what I want to do, thanks for that. I want to show more data because I work at Broadly. You might think it's self-serving to talk about the importance of reviews and web chat and messaging, but the data is here. So on that same study, which Google My Business tasks have the most value to local marketing success? In this study, they were surveying a lot of local agencies and local marketers that help small business owners. The responses came back looking like this. Number one ranked, growing Google reviews. Number two, spam fighting, and I'll talk about that in a second. Keeping info up to date, that's rounding out your Google My Business profile, and responding to reviews. So you can see there just in the top four of this, and writing posts, right? Top four of this, you see reviews twice, keeping information updated, and fighting spam, right? A lot of that stuff that you're not seeing buy ads, you're not seeing spend thousands of dollars, right? You're seeing manage a strong review program, bring in some automation, respond to your customers, and to keep your info up to date. It's really a powerful way to market your shop. And then when they come into your shop and you've got a product like software, there's going to be this wonderful transparency to it and ease of use. That customer experience is going to come naturally. Let me touch on spam fighting because it's kind of a weird thing to see. I think of like spam with Soupy in Hawaii, but spam fighting is more about in the Google My Business land. You unfortunately will find people who create false listings, and this is a big penalty for Google. But somebody who wants to maybe be in the California Bay Area, they're going to create fake shops at all these various destinations. So I'm in South Bay and North Bay and East Bay and everywhere, right? In San Francisco. You can't do that. It's against their policy. And the key is to make sure if you see that in your area, in your market, make sure that you're reporting it. And there's a tool there. You just go in. If you see some shop acting suspiciously, report it. And once that flag is in, Google will put that into an investigation with humans behind it to make sure some of that stuff is suppressed. But beyond that and that nefarious kind of stuff, you focus on reviews, focus on updated information, and respond. It's not all bad, right? I think maybe when reviews first got started and there wasn't as many people using it, it was always about a bad experience. If I had a terrible experience, I'm going to write a review. If I find a fly in my soup, that's what I'm going to talk about, right? But now people actually want to write about positive experiences they have. A study of over 1,000 consumers, they found that 60% are writing positive experiences. So this comes back down to delivering a strong CX in your shop, a customer experience, will result in positive reviews online. You're probably going to get a negative review, even if you're an amazing business. And that to me, that's authentic. That's going to show up once in a while. The beauty is you can bury them in a mountain of positivity. You can just get all your happy customers to write about you as well. And that one review, that's just going to happen. It brings some authenticity to it. Here's some more data for you. So how many reviews are your consumers reading before they trust you? And really, this is heavily about trust when we talk about your reputation. Overall, the study shows that they're reading about 10 of the reviews before making a major purchase decision. If I'm going to spend a couple $100s or thousands of dollars working on my car, I want to trust the place I'm dropping that car off. Almost as much as I trust the place I drop my kid off. I don't know which one ranks higher, but probably the child. The younger groups, 18 to 34 years old, 13 reviews, and those 55 plus, 7 reviews. But still a lot of reviews are being read. The key here is freshness and frequency. I see a lot of shops out there that are like, I've got 100 reviews. And you log in and they're from 6 months ago, or they're from a year ago when they focused on it. That is not good for the search engines, for the bots, or for the consumer who's researching your business. Frequency and freshness is what they're looking for. The last thing here I want to talk about on the data, this is a study out of WhiteSpark. It is not about necessarily reviews and ranking. It's about conversion. So when I think of conversion, what helps somebody click on your actions? You have a Google profile or you have a website, but looking at GMB, that's Google My Business, that little card you have on Google. Why is somebody going to engage with your listing? When they ran this study, the results top 3, high number of numerical rating. So that's that 4.0 or better. We're always striving for a 4.0 or better. 4.2 versus 3.9 is a massive difference to conversions. Positive sentiment in review text. Are your customers talking positively about you, not just ranking you, but putting in some review text, and then quantity with text. And I think what's cool about Shop-Ware, and Monique, you can elaborate on this, please, but the transparency with the repair order, I believe, results in a better understanding from the customer so that the review text could be stronger.
That's right. We actually find that our customers get a lot more reviews, positive reviews that directly reflect their experience, not only with the shop, of course, but also with their experience in seeing everything very visible and very transparent about not only why the vehicle was in, but what was done and what was said about it. So it brings them into the whole entire experience, like if they were there waiting in the waiting room, walking back to the back of the bay, looking at what was going on, that's bringing them into that, even if they're not physically there. And then that directly is reflected in their reviews. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that transparency and that simplicity, I think, is really what will help this situation where, if I get my car repaired and it just lists some part number and it says $400, I don't know what that means, right? Like it's frustrating for me as a consumer and shop owner. But if I can see my repair order and it says, catalytic converter repair or, tire rotation, something a little more simple, I am going to have that ability to write about that in my review of your business. I'm not going to be able to write about, 76AB part 14 or whatever these numbers are. I'm not going to get that. But if you can simplify it and be transparent with what you're doing, that should relate out in the reviews you're going to get about your business and ultimately drive increased conversions. Okay, so let's kind of think about some ratios here. And being a dad of 2 that are now homeschooling, I feel like I'm learning my math again, and then these ratios are part of this 3rd grade experience that I have here. So this kind of hits close to home. But I like these idea of when you think of your customers and you think about them in the shop and the ratios it's going to take for you to convert positive sentiment online. It takes mathematically, it takes 4 5-star reviews to offset 1 1-star review. So if your goal, and it should be your goal, is to maintain a 4.0 or higher, if you were to get a 1-star review, you need 4 5-star reviews to make an average of a 4.2, right? So just think about that. Like you might get a 1-star review once in a while. That means you need 4 5-star reviews to maintain an average of 4.2. And you all know this, like over 4.0 is a significant conversion factor. Like they even change the color of the stars on some of these sites where it's like, ooh, it's red. I don't want to go to a 3.9 business, right? So that's one ratio to think about. Now, kind of doing like a minimal amount of review management, you should get about 1 out of 10 customers to write a review for you. That's like the minimum I'd like to see if you've got a program in place. So, if you have 10 great customers that were happy about you, you should be getting 1. That's good, right? If you're getting less, like that's something to think about. If you start using a program, you should start getting, 1 to 2, like 10 to 20% of your customers. But let's like extrapolate that out. That means it takes 40 positive experiences to undo the damage of 1 bad review, right? So now again, you get that 1-star review, you need 4 good ones. But that means you've had to deliver 40 exceptional positive experiences to get there, right? How many cars, what's your car count every day? Are you at 40 a week? Are you at 40 a month? Like how much time is this going to take you to end up offsetting that 1 bad review? So it's just some fun ratios to think about on what it takes to keep your 4.2 rating and the experiences you need to deliver. Right, so we're back to this chart, this consumer path of customer experience. It's really about trust, right? We briefly touched on this earlier, but that's what you're trying to figure out. Yes, you're trying to have fun with cookies and teddy bears. You're trying to bring in web chat and SMS and messaging. You're trying to be transparent with your repair order. You're trying to kind of be modern and caught up with today's consumers, all of that. And that's going to help. But at the end of the day, you're building this trust along the journey. So when you thank them at the end of the day through an integration like with Shop-Ware and Broadly, you're going to ask them, you're going to get that positive review online. All right. So you design that trust, you understand the journey they're having with your shop, not just when they drop off and pick up, but the entire journey. Then you have to ask them, right? They all say they love you, but they don't do it unless you reach out proactively and ask them. So you bring the car to the shop, they have a good experience, they're asked to write a review. That all automates through partnerships like Broadly and Shop-Ware because we integrate in our systems together. Like here on the slide, you close out and you click picked up. Picked up will trigger a link, trigger that customer record over to Broadly, and that will automate follow-up with your customers. Very hands-off. You guys go about your job, you're growing your business, you're helping customers, you're delivering exceptional value. You check picked up, Broadly will take care of the rest because we've partnered with Shop-Ware to do that integration. Right. I don't know, Monique, if you've heard from some of our mutual customers of what they think about that element.
Yeah, shops are busy and they don't have time to ask for feedback is what I find. They don't have time for really much or review, right? So when the vehicle, like you said, is marked picked up in Shop-Ware, our customers can just really rest assured that Broadly is going to go out and make sure that they're getting the reviews for them. And I hear it's a great partnership and nothing but good feedback from the customers who are actually using the two.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's that expression speed to lead, right? Like where you get a lead, if you get somebody interested in you, you need to get back to them quickly or they're calling the next shop down the street. It's the same idea when you're asking for a review. By automating it, you click it, within 15 minutes, we can send out a review request. So before they get home and park in their driveway, they sit there and they see a text message from your shop, branded by your shop, saying, thank you for your business. What do you think? And then they just click a single button and they get into a review platform like Google and Facebook and Yelp and Nextdoor. Here's a customer spotlight. I think sometimes it's fun to get out of the data and get out of the weeds and just kind of look at a real life experience. This is a mutual customer we share with Shop-Ware. Almost a 5x increase in Google reviews since joining, right? G47. They have 209 new Google reviews, captured 77 qualified leads. I feel it's like those slot machines, 777. Broadly's website integration.
I was thinking it was just from the kids at home.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But just powerful, right, guys? So now this shop, for example, has automated the software, is using Shop-Ware, is getting Broadly to power this experience with the journey of the customer. They're turning visitors into leads from web chat, up to 77 of them during this time period. Right. So now it's not just endless contact forms and phone numbers. It's really converting a visitor into a lead. And that visitor isn't just stuck in an endless web chat, right? We don't just like put bots in confusion. We use the web chat to capture the information of that customer. Who are you? What are you looking for? And what's your contact info? That turns into a text message. So then they're off on their phones, they're at their kids' soccer practice, or they're having a meeting with their boss, and you haven't lost that lead. They've left your website an hour ago, maybe 10 minutes ago, but you're engaging with them over two-way text, and you can capture that lead and answer any questions they have. I want to talk now, guys. We're going to pivot a little bit into responding to reviews, right? So it's really, here's Fisk Automotive, great customer of ours as well. They respond to reviews, and here's a pretty decent response. Thanks for the great review of 5 stars. We take all of our reviews seriously, and we're glad the 2000 Toyota RAV4 air conditioning going again with the new compressor. This guy knows what he's doing, right? That is a very detailed keyword review response. That is important. And let me show you why that is. First of all, Harvard did a study, 12% more review growth if you're responding to your reviews. So you're already investing in growing your reputation. Simply respond to reviews and you're going to continue to grow that reputation. Google says you should do it. Like myself and Monique and Jenna, we can all tell you it's a good idea. But the reality is if you go onto Google's FAQs on their page they publish themselves on how to improve your ranking factor, down here I've highlighted manage and respond to your reviews. It's something they recommend you do to improve your ranking factor. When Google says do something, it's kind of hard to say no. you want to listen. What about more of these studies? This Bright Local study that's done every year. Do you read businesses' response to their customers? If you would sum up all of that stuff besides the red, 97% are reading the responses you do for your customers. I'm more likely to use a business that's responded, 95% of customers. So if it's you versus your competition and they're doing their research, 9 out of 10, let's call it, are going to use the one that's responding to their business reviews more likely than yours if you're not responding. So just some kind of quick hits, guys. How to respond to reviews. You want to show off your relationship. That's the whole point. You show that you care, you show that you're engaged, you show that you have a relationship with your customer. They're more than just a car and a credit card. Show off your customer service by putting the right type of response for both good and bad reviews. You're showing off, right? You're talking about how good I am at customer service. It's a great opportunity. And then I want to get into the boost your SEO element. We can talk about how you respond to positive reviews. It's kind of what I already said, but it's really keep it personal, show your appreciation, respond to every review, meaning get like a program in place that can help you monitor and do this seamlessly. And then share your values, right? Talk about who you are as a company. What is important to you in your business? Share those in the reviews. Some feedback on how to respond to negative reviews. It's tough. I always say, take a breath. Don't respond immediately. Don't be defensive. And you're setting customer service expectations. While yes, you want to engage with that individual who wrote negative about you, you're really setting the stage for everybody else who's going to read what your response looks like. If it was your fault, own your part. Apologize for not meeting the expectations, show the facts without assumptions, and provide a productive next step. We'll be reaching out to you. Our service manager is going to contact you shortly. Whatever that is, there's some do's and don'ts of maybe how to handle negative reviews. I also say bury them in an amount of positivity like earlier. Like that's the other way to handle some of those. Let's look at a few examples here of good, better, best, or red, yellow, and green. So somebody writes you a nice review. Let's talk about the positive. You could write, Kyle, thank you for your wonderful review of your business. We're thrilled to hear that you're happy with our service. Take that out of context, and that could be a review about anything. That could be a movie theater, a place to go get a massage. That could be a burrito place, like who knows? That's not telling much about your business. It's nice and it's pleasant, but what are we getting out of it about being a shop? The next one, Kyle, thank you for taking the time to share your opinion of Acme Auto in Chicago, keyword, business name, service area, as well as of Chris. You've now made it personal. We take pride in providing outstanding service to each and every customer, and we're overjoyed to receive your compliments and appreciation. We look forward to assisting you with future auto repair needs. There's another keyword, auto repair needs, by providing our top rated quality of service. That's a pretty good response. We now have business name, we have service area, it's personal. Another keyword with repair needs, pretty good. Now the one that I think is a little over the top, but really the best. Thank you for providing us valuable feedback about our auto repair company in Chicago, Illinois. So now we have city and state, people search that way. Our service professional, Chris, appreciates that you're happy with the brake replacement and auto tune-up and service of your Ford Ranger. much like Fisk's earlier example, the guy that responded in real life here, he talked about the model and make of the car. He talked about what part he helped them with, the air conditioning unit. In this one, we're talking about the auto tune-up. We take pride in providing outstanding service to each and every customer. Certified master technicians. We look forward to providing you the same high quality of service in the future. Just some good things to think about when you're out there responding. Yes, it takes a lot of time, but it's going to reward you if you take that little extra time, 30 extra seconds, to think about the experience that customer had and how to tie that back into the type of business that you are. An automotive aftermarket customer. Curb appeal. This is my whole thing. This isn't exactly my ideal house. I don't like the drapes they have in their windows, but I love this idea of the red door, the beautiful curb appeal. This is what we're talking about, right? It's your online curb appeal. You can hire a realtor to sell your home, right? And they can buy ads in Zillow and Trulio and Redfin. They can put up signs. They can market and do videos on Instagram. But if you forgot about your curb appeal, what was the point, right? It's the same way with your shop. You're going to buy ads, and you should, and you're going to do social, and you should. You're going to spend lots of money on these programs with agencies, and you absolutely should. But don't forget about the curb appeal, right? You're going to drive all these people to your online business, your digital front door. Make sure they know that you're amazing. Make sure they hear about all the advocates and the word of mouth of your happy customers. That's how you do this. And in a partnership with a shop management system like Shop-Ware, you can automate a lot of that. So you automate the request, but don't forget about the experience you're delivering before you ask them for that review, right? So deliver that seamless, tech-forward, modern experience through software like Broadly, and you're able to then ask for reviews with confidence, and you're going to see your happy customers write more reviews about you, and your red door experience, your curb appeal, is really going to shine. It's pretty cool to see. And we have lots of testimonials here. Happy to share more if you guys want to follow up with any of us. But here's another customer, doubled in 1 year, 92 to 192 reviews, 4.7 overall rating, captured 54 qualified leads through the website integration. Keep in mind, we don't have to build your website. We can just integrate with your existing website and do a web chat and contact form flow to consolidate all those conversations down. The Google Messenger I talked about earlier, we can consolidate that down into a single app as well. So now you, your customer service reps, your shop owners, all these people, they're able to consolidate a single place to manage the conversations. Finally, this is a long quote. I'm not going to sit here and read the whole thing out, but we love Jay over at Yoakley's. The beautiful part here is nothing came anywhere close to what has happened since using Broadly service in conjunction with Shop-Ware. This is a quote directly from Jay. And then towards the end here, 37% of customers who walked in the door were brand new. And compared to 2019, he didn't have a single new customer walk in the door. So he had a lot of repeat business, a lot of word of mouth, but it was doing a good business. But to see 37% of the customers who came in being brand new based on his online reputation, that really speaks for itself. That's what we're trying to help you do by increasing your car count and adding that value. So that's it. I'm out of breath. I need a drink of water. Jenna here is going to hopefully drop in how to follow up with us. You could always go to broadly.com or the link that she suggests, or reach out to your Shop-Ware rep. They know us well. And I really appreciate the time here. Any other thoughts, Monique?
Thank you so much. It's been a really good partnership, and we've heard great things. And so we just want to thank everyone for their time. And if you need anything from either one of us, Jenna has dropped that link in the chat, but you will definitely get some follow-up from some Shop-Ware reps for sure. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day, and reach out if you need anything.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, everyone. Have a great one. Take care.